And my chef, who's really bad with names, and people said, who? And I said, Rhonda. Who? Our first catering job and our neighbor in our kitchen, Rhonda. And he went, oh yeah, Rhonda. We knew Rhonda. We had met her in Leva years ago, and we love her and we trust her, and we knew she would take care of our family. We brought Rhonda in. We're in a similar situation where we have a loved one that might need to move into a retirement community. Who am I calling? Beth Fries and Nova Oasis Advisors. Same thing. I met Beth through networking. I have known Beth for years. I trust her. I know her. Did I need her 5 years ago when I met her? No, but I need her now. Mm-hmm. So, my ex-husband has contacted her to, help facilitate, moving his parents. And it's just it's a big thing to put your trust in someone else. And so you really want to make sure you know them. And that's why I say 7 good conversations. And those good conversations should always start with, how do you spend your day? Mm-hmm. Not what do you do? How do you spend your day? Because you're going to get a really authentic answer from that person, or catch them off guard and make them laugh. And learn about them. Because the last thing I'm going to do is walk in. I'll tell people what I do. I'll tell them what makes me tick. I'll tell them about how awesome catering life is. But I'm not going to say, so when can I get you those box lunches, Jethro? Not going to do it.
Absolutely.
It's just not the way it works. That becomes pushy and aggressive, and it's just, even though I'm pushy and aggressive, that's really not who I am in sales, because it's about the relationship, it's about solving a problem, and it's about meeting someone where they are and helping them out when they have that need.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's absolutely right. And I have to play a long-term game in my profession, so I totally understand that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Some people are instant gratification industry, some people are long game. Mm-hmm. I got one networking tip for you guys.
Just one?
I got one big one. This is my one pet peeve. One pet peeve about networking. Yeah.
One.
So you invite someone to a visitor night to whatever that event is. And when that person walks in and people are circled, okay, and you guys need to think about this while you're out there doing that. When you get your group, 5, 6, 7 people, and you guys are standing in a circle talking, and there's no gap in that circle, nobody's going to join you.
Nobody.
And when the whole event is mostly like that, it sends a very, very negative impression to all your visitors. So you can circle up, guys. But gapping, if there's not enough room for someone to step into that gap and join in, you're screwing up. And that's my biggest one. I've been to a couple of events like that, and I promise you I never came back.
And I won't do business with people that are circled like that. I went to 2 events years ago, and again, I'm extroverted, and I don't have a problem breaking into a group, but I walked in and there was a circle, and I knew 2 of the people in that circle, and it was dark, it was loud, it was crowded, I couldn't really see other people, and I thought, there are some people I can go talk to. So I stood at the edge of their circle, and no one wanted to let me in. And I stood there a little bit longer, trying to make eye contact with the people I knew, and they kind of smiled, but again, didn't embrace me or pull me in. And finally, the person who was closest to me turned and said, oh, the line for the bar is over there. Mm-hmm. I walked out of that event.
Yep.
I walked out and I thought, I don't know who you are, but I will never do business with you. Mm-hmm. I just think it's so unfriendly. And the other thing too is, you got to treat the salesperson nicely. As a salesperson, I get all kinds of responses. But you never know when someone has a solution you haven't thought of.
Yep.
And salespeople are really powerful because we know everybody in this town. So, when you're rude to one of my staff members, when you're rude to me, that gets passed along. I'm not blasting you on social media, but I'm telling my friend Jethro, I'm telling my other friends, I'm telling people the experience that I had. So you always want to make sure that you put your best foot forward, and you never know who someone knows.
Yep.
So I might go up to someone at an event and they tell me what they do for a living, and I'm like, you're never going to cater food, you're a waste of my time, and I walk away. Guess what? They might have a kid getting married, their spouse might work for a major corporation I'm trying to get into, and I just shot myself in the foot.
Yep.
So, you just have to go into networking with the spirit of, I'm going to talk to everybody, I'm going to be polite, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be a good human being, I'm going to, ask questions of them, show an investment in them. And again, that's a Gallup strategy. Hey, Jethro, how you doing? Jethro, how do you spend your day?
Yep.
That was good information, Jethro. What's your plan for next year, Jethro? Using someone's name, eye contact, questions.
And again.
Yeah.
These are golden tips.
Golden tips.
This is marketing
we
and
should
sales
charge
101.
for this.
I do. You're getting it for free.
Notes now?
No, I had to switch highlighter color. For those that are paying attention to the color of my highlighter on these videos, I didn't have time to print out a new list of questions, so instead of using the orange one and confusing myself, I had to innovate and switch to the yellow. So that way I can stay on track.
Love it.
Oh, Lord. Well, we're getting pretty close to the end, so let me see what else I can ask you here. So, what, and I really love to continue hammering on networking because that was a lot of fun. We both seem to really want to vent on that one. So, if it wasn't you going networking and you were going to send your people out like scattering seeds on the wind, what kind of strategy would you put in place to make sure that they were going to go be productive at these events? Because a lot of people get to the point, or they're very introverted and they don't want to go themselves, so they send employees. Which, let me give you guys a hint. If you're sending employees, man, send someone that's outgoing and knows what they're doing. Don't just send the poor new person and throw them to the wolves, because a lot of us will just eat them alive. You know, if someone doesn't want to be there, you can tell. So, how would you choose which of your employees you would send? And what would be your strategy that you build up to get them in the right place to do the best good? Because obviously you'd have to be paying them to be there.
You know, sending them with intent and purpose, which is very different than saying go to the event. When I am meeting with business owners and talking about networking for LEPA specifically, I always tell them, you need to come to the event, but bring a cheerleader with you. And I always say cheerleader, because a cheerleader is better than your best employee. Your best employee might be, you know, fantastic at chopping potatoes, but they might not be your cheerleader. Who is your cheerleader? Bring that person with you, because they will be your wingman at the events. They'll get to know the ropes, and then when you can't come, they already know what to do. So training, mentoring, onboarding, just like we would do with employees, just like we do with ourselves, do that to the person that you're going to bring to networking events. Give them that comfort level and set the expectations. Second, smile and dial. I mean, like I said, you know, go through the list of attendees. Any good salesperson worth their salt is going to know who's going to be at that event. You're going to a trade show, look at the attendees. I mean, it's just something you have to do. You've got to do your homework before you get there. So again, equipping that employer, that cheerleader, to know how to do their homework and help guide them through that process so that they go in with confidence and ease. And then what are the expectations? Do I want you to come back with 20 cards and then you talk to, you know, Jim who might want a sandwich? No. I want you to make meaningful relationships and come back and tell me, you know, I spent 30 minutes talking to so-and-so and I learned this and this about them. Because then you've got that relationship. And when that relationship blossoms and grows, I'm going to get business out of it. So we do have one cheerleader that we would love to place out at networking events. But the problematic because there's children. So it's like a lot of the times when the networking is occurring is really not conducive when you've got a young family. So, you know, we do have our eye on how we are going to groom our next person because there's another thing with networking. It'll get stale and old. I mean, there are going to be some of the same people that go to some of the same events over and over and over, and that's fantastic. And there's always new blood that comes in. But after a while, groups can run their course, and you just need to physically take a step back and send someone in your place that sees it from a fresh set of eyes. And I think both Chad and I, with the couple groups we're in, are really at that point where we're tired and we need someone new to come in and revitalize the seat that we hold so that we can focus on some other things. So that is something we're definitely looking at. And again, as we look at our team's strengths and weaknesses, it's like who's going to represent us the best? Who has the ability to speak about our company with authority? And again, always under promise and over deliver. And, you know, because I think when you're new and you're young, you're like, yes, I can do this, and yes, my company. No, we can't. So really just helping set the stage for success in that cheerleader is just really, really important.
All right. Well, I got one last one for you.
One last one. Bring it on.
Because I have no idea. We have no clocks in here because I intentionally hide them. So I don't know how long these go until after I see the videos. So, someone's just starting out. They're going to start a new business. What's the one biggest thing that you would tell them that they need to know? Pick one.
Oh, God, I can't say two.
One.
Know your weaknesses.
Okay.
Can I expand?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You gotta pick one thing.
Okay.
But you can expand
No,
on
you
it.
need to know your weaknesses. And again, I've said I'm a really big believer in the Gallup Strength Finder, and my strengths are like achiever and strategic and woo and input. And my strengths are not detail oriented. They're not. Empathy actually is not in my top 15, which makes me very sad. But it's just not there. So when it comes to things that are detail oriented, like finances, weakness, I hire out. I'm not good at it. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to screw up our books. I'm not going to pay our taxes. Bad things will happen. Hire out. Again, I'm not an attorney. Hire out. So you got to figure out what your time is worth. And if it's going to take me 6 hours to enter in receipts to QuickBooks when it takes my CFO 20 seconds, why would I spend my time doing it when I can be out doing what I excel at? So know your weaknesses and know how to remedy them. That's absolutely pertinent.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to thank you for coming to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
And everyone, like always, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on YouTube, you can follow me on LinkedIn. If you want to participate, you want to be sitting right here, or if you have questions you want me to add to the list, leave me comments, share it with other business owners. Guys, we put our time. I promise you neither of us getting paid to do this. We put our time out here. So you guys have a wealth of knowledge. You have a video series we're putting together that is nothing but how it's been done right. So that way you might not have to learn by painful experience.
Yeah.
So feel free to participate. Share what we're putting out there. And hey, support us by liking it. So, Jethro No Coast or Doorstep Diner. You guys have a great day.